Please welcome to the stage, Chris Cooper.
The daddy of Jeunesse in Australia, New Zealand. Who's your daddy? I'll accept that title. I feel that, but my presentation today for me is quite, it's almost nostalgic. And my nostalgia is strong. I was sitting there thinking, I actually think my very first show that I ever did when I began my career was here at Jupiter's on this stage. I think it was 1998. My first company was Tahitian Noni Juice, and I remember standing here doing a show, and I think that was my very first. So now it's almost 20 years later, and I'm back here again at Jupiter's. But my life's been a bit of a whirlwind the past few months. You've heard from Kanwa already about added job responsibility. So back in the early days, the first 2 years for Jeunesse Australia, New Zealand, I was the only employee. I sat at home with my phone, and I just did customer service all day. We were getting some help from Malaysia, and then later on we switched to the Philippines. But it was only 2 years ago that I hired Rachel, so there was such an intense beginning. And then shortly after, they added Africa to my portfolio, and that's been a fantastic journey, a country of extreme diversity, and now different African countries are starting to grow. And then it was last Christmas when Scott called me. It was a couple of days before Christmas, and he said, look, you've done fantastic in the region. Australia really is one of the shining examples in all of our markets. And I've gotten along great with Kanwa since the beginning. He said, how would you like to assist Kanwa in Southeast Asia? So my portfolio has grown. And for me, it's, I love it. It's a great compliment. But for me, it's a real compliment for me and the market and Australia. Australia, we are doing fantastic. You've seen some of the results from Kanwa, our stats, our growth, percentage growth, overall sales, total sales, the awards we've won. We're a shining example, I think, of how to effectively run and operate a direct selling market here in Aussie. Now, something that Kanwa mentioned, I have greater responsibility in the region. I will be moving to live in Malaysia. I'm sticking myself in the heart of the region. So in 2 weeks, I move to Malaysia, to KL. But you'll still see me as much as always, because I'm there because from Malaysia, you can really fly anywhere within just a few hours. Like Gold Coast is 5 hours, but I'll be much better positioned to jump around to all those events that Kanwa showed. Kanwa, he still has to fly from Florida. He has the horrible jet lag. I just kind of go up and down in maybe an hour either side. So I won't be falling asleep like that in your meetings anymore, because I won't have jet lag, you will have jet lag. But the market, what we've done in the last 4 years, one of the biggest things that have changed my life is this group here. My team, from beginning with just myself 4 years ago to hire, I'm going to call her the mother of the market, Rachel, as she's now promoted to the general manager of Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. So it was the two of us for almost 2 years, but then we hired Lisa. I've always focused strongly on compliance, and Lisa came on board as our compliance manager. Lisa has been doing direct selling compliance on and off for almost 20 years. And then most recently, I hired Julie. Similar story. Julie has been doing, first she was I think she began in customer service in direct selling almost 20 years ago. Then for about 5 years was the compliance manager. Then she actually ran her own events company that specialized in running events for direct selling. So when we had a position vacant, someone strong MLM background, doing events, direct selling, compliance, but particularly running our events. She was the perfect fit. So this is now our crack team. These three ladies are running the show. I've handpicked all of them. I'm a sexist recruiter. I've only hired ladies in my history in Jeunesse, but I think they just do a better job. They really do. Give our three ladies an applause. I love them. Rachel, Lisa, and Julie. I still remain directly responsible for Australia. The regional director, I still am looking after Oz, and I'll be here at every event. I just want to tell you how proud I am of you. I am so proud of this market. One of the things that highlighted that for me was this recent cruise we had, the Mediterranean cruise. And Rachel asked before, I was facing this way, but as I look out this way, who was on the cruise hands up, because we had, I think it's 200 Aussies and Kiwis came on the cruise. Okay, one of the things with the cruise is I accept a regional responsibility. I was there with Canwa. There was parts of the cruise, there was an absolute mess. I have to admit it. And you saw it at the beginning of the cruise. We had all of these people turn up that we didn't know they were coming, or they advised us too late. We had people turn up saying, oh, this is my new partner, my other partner couldn't come, or I'm bringing my downline and bring my guest. You just can't do that on a cruise. You cannot just rock up. The manifest had to be submitted to the government a couple of days in advance. We just could not make changes. It was a horrible situation. It was really awful sitting there, talking to people, explaining why. Look, I know you're a diamond. I know this is your wife, but your wife cannot come on board. Even though your bed is empty, she cannot come on the cruise with you because you haven't done it the right way. It was a mess. Every country was affected except for one country. Only one country had no-shows. So a lot of other countries, people were registered. I think when our boat left, there was more than 100 cabins that were empty, even though people sitting on the dock at first. There was also a lot of people on the dock as the boat left. Canwa, he worked an absolute miracle and got those people over to Naples. We did a lot of work, got them on board. But Aussies, of the 200, we were the second largest group. Thailand was the largest group. Of the Aussies, we had no-shows. Everyone came and everyone got on the boat because we were tough. Rachel was tough. Julie was tough. Yes, we met the deadlines. We submitted the manifest. So as far as management, we managed it effectively, and as a result, everything went so smooth. Where's our Aussie group? So Aussies, congratulations on the Mediterranean cruise. As I stood there dealing with everyone else, I thought, my Aussies have nailed it, and we haven't been affected. And it's part of what I have wanted to develop from the very beginning. I'm a strict GM. I always have been. I've focused a lot on things that most GMs never talk about. I've focused on principles and conduct. At Noosa particularly, where I have my leaders in a tight little family group, we've spoken about the things, appearance and conduct. On the cruise, as Canwa showed, we got all these awards for our business, for our growth. We have had good, consistent growth. Our sales have looked like this. I've never wanted a business and sales that look like your ECG, your heart thing. Up, down, huge sales, crash the next month. That's not the way to run it. As a GM, we can throw out these incentives that cause these huge spikes, but that doesn't work. I know there's been other examples in the market, in the region, where other GMs have offered special deals and given away free packs. Those GMs are gone. A lot of those leaders are gone. A lot of those markets are now struggling because they weren't built on a good, solid foundation. From the beginning, we've focused on the code of conduct. We've focused on behavior, how we looked. Noosa, I gave one presentation, lift your game. How can we be better as individuals? I want this business to last. I'm sick of changing companies. I think this is my fourth or fifth direct selling company in 20 years. I don't want to change again. I don't want you to have to change. I want this to be the last business that you will ever build. I want you to enjoy that residual income that we talk about and promise. The power of appearance is one of the first things we talked about at Noosa. I mentioned just a few things that I observed. I wanted people to clean up our act publicly. We talked about smoking, we talked about drinking. I'm glad that a few people have since kind of told me, Chris, I drink a lot less, or I've given up drinking. A couple of people said, I used to smoke, but I understand what you're saying, that as a professional advocate, representative of a health company that talks about particularly anti-aging and antioxidants, I see the hypocrisy of wanting to be a top leader in smoking, so I've given it up. Stevie Baker, I think he's completely given up swearing since we've talked about it at Noosa. Our diamonds, they no longer show their asses on Facebook. They sanitize their Facebook. There's no bum shots anymore. We've really cleaned up our act. That makes me proud. At Noosa, I spoke a little bit on this. This is me as a little kid, lessons of my youth. This ties in with what I wanted to. I have a vision of my market in Australia, what I wanted it to be, how I wanted us to be, how I wanted us to look, and how I want us to grow. I don't have time to show you all this, but this is sure fun. I'm going to show a little bit of this clip. I showed it at Noosa so you can remember. This is one of my industry mentors. He's the Cookie Monster.
You guys, Smiley.
Yes, I am, and you're the next.
But for time, I'm going to skip it. The Cookie Monster, it's a game show. He has a dilemma. He's offered two choices. There is a cookie now. He can either have that cookie right now, or if he waits, he can have two cookies in like 10 minutes. And he's torn apart. Anyhow, it's a fun little whimsical skit, but it's based on something they call the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. Have you heard about that? It's quite a famous study, a simple study too. It was conducted at Stanford University in the 1960s. Professor Walter Mischel, what he did, it's the Cookie Monster scenario. He got a bunch of children to come through a room. He either offered them one reward now, so one marshmallow now, or he said, if you wait 15 minutes, I will come back and then I'll give you two marshmallows. And then he leaves the room, leaves the child, one marshmallow on the plate, and the kids get to look at it. Now, the results of that was interesting, but 2/3 of the children ate the marshmallow within the 15-minute waiting time. I don't know if that's what you thought or would have expected. Now, I want you to think, am I the child that would have eaten that marshmallow, or would I have been able to wait? So it was a study on delayed gratification, and the results were very revealing. There were follow-up studies, and they revealed that the children who were able to wait for the preferred rewards in life, as they followed these children, overall, they had better SAT scores, like Aussie HSC or your school scores, ranking you, their educational attainment, even their body mass index, which kind of makes sense when you think about, people who need instant rewards and gratification, food now, or those who can delay gratification, and all other life measures. Look at this one clip that I won't skip.
The most important principle for success, which is the ability to delay gratification. Self-discipline, the most important factor for success. 15 years later, 14, 15 years later, follow-up study. What did they find? They went to look for these kids who were now 18 and 19, and they found that 100% of the children that had not eaten the marshmallow were successful. They had good grades, they were doing wonderful, they were happy, they had their plans, they had good relationship with the teachers, students, they were doing fine. A great percentage of the kids that ate the marshmallow, they were in trouble. They did not make it to the university, they had bad grades, some of them dropped out, a few were still there with bad grades, a few had good grades.
I think about this scenario all the time, the Cookie Monster story, the marshmallow story. In our business, this particularly applies. Good things come to those who wait, but better things come to those who work for it. This business is not easy. It's hard. It's really hard. I look at the sacrifices made by particularly our top leaders. I know their stories the best. I've seen what they've done. It's not easy, but the rewards for effort ratio, this business is far more rewarding than almost any other business that you can do, but it doesn't come immediately. This business is built upon entrepreneurship. That is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Now, when Lyndon started in Jeunesse, he started, I think, 5 years ago, he started the same place as everyone else did. He started at zero. He walked away from another MLM where he was $1 million income earner, and he started with nothing. But he did his homework. He knew about Jeunesse. He looked at, Randy, Wendy, the market, the timing, the penetration, growth, all of that, and he thought, this is the one. He worked his butt off for, like still is, but for the first few years, and did not make a lot of money, because you don't make a lot in the early years. But by, I think, probably like the third year, he was $1 million income earner. In his fourth year, it's multi-millions. Now as he's heading into the fifth year, it's multi-millions. It comes, but it doesn't come without that initial sacrifice. And it's hard at times, because we're not the only player in the market. I've been around long enough to see, I know a lot of you in the room from other companies even. I hear stories of people coming and going. I hear it all the time. It really makes me quite tired. It's the grass is greener scenario. And the grass always seems greener on the other side. People tell me, oh, do you know that this Kayani and Nerium and this one's coming and this is coming to Australia. I have a bunch of my team. I think they've signed up with another company. I always say, let them go. If they want to go, let them go. I think they're foolish, because if you do your homework, you'll look at what Jeunesse is and what they are and where we are in our life cycle and what we're doing. We are the biggest, and it's not just puffery. We are audited, the biggest, fastest growing. You know that. Number 18 already. No one's growing faster than Jeunesse. Why would you, at a time like this, start looking and entertaining another business, particularly if you've already built a Jeunesse foundation for 1 or 2 years. At other times, the other thing is, it's great to be us, it sucks to be the rest, because I have direct selling managers come all the time telling me, our people are quitting and joining Jeunesse, will you stop it? I said, what do you want me to stop? Will you stop being so sexy? Will you stop being so appealing? Will you stop having the best compensation plan? I will not stop other people from other direct selling companies in Australia or anywhere coming over to Jeunesse. We should not actively cross-line recruit within the industry. That's a no-no. But I love having the most attractive and the most appealing direct selling opportunities such that others are wishing to join us. And that's happening. So if you think, our grass is green looking over the fence, really everyone else has been looking over the fence at Jeunesse, and we are the greenest grass right now in all of the industry, in all of Australia. And you know that. No one has grown faster than us, and the greatest number of leaders that have joined us from other companies. And I love hearing stories that people say, I sold bras and undies for 20 years, and I'm now making more in Jeunesse in my first or second year than I was after 20 years of this particular effort. I've got a top leader in South Africa who was the top leader for another company for more than 15 years. He said, Chris, I'm making more money now after the end of my first year than I was after 15 years building this other MLM business. Don't do something permanently stupid just because you're temporarily upset. All the time, I get phone calls. If I can promise anything, I never make promises because much of it is beyond my control. This is a promise I can make. I promise you that there will be speed bumps, there will be obstacles. I promise you Jeunesse will make mistakes. I promise you that some shipments will go missing. I promise you that sometimes an order will have a missing product. Sometimes you will have a customer who will have a skin reaction that's maybe not the ideal that you hope for. These things do go wrong. There will always be these. Our job, Rachel's job, all the staff, customers, we just fix stuff. Most of what we do all day, true, is fixing stuff. Little problems here and there, and we're good at it. We fix stuff. Things will go wrong. Don't lose your lid, blow your stack. Don't lose the plot just because something's gone wrong. Don't blow this whole Jeunesse thing just because of something that ticks you off today. Don't burn your opportunities for a temporary comfort as well. There are some things you can do, maybe a bit unethical. You can shortcut something to try and get a bigger reward today. Don't do that. It doesn't work in the long term. I've seen that particularly in Malaysia. If you've built in Malaysia, there's all these things that went wrong in that market. We talked about it at Noosa because a lot of leaders in the management found ways to tweak things to get some short-term gain. It doesn't work in the long run. I think about this one often as well. Don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Jeunesse is a big goose that is laying a golden egg every day. The next day there's another one, there's another one. It is laying and laying. We're growing. The eggs are getting bigger. They're coming out faster. But don't strangle that goose. Don't muck with your business, the conversation. Don't muck with your downline. Don't do short-term strategies that will be detrimental to your business in the long run. We have obstacles. We have opposition. This is Aussie. The tall poppy syndrome. No one else knows what this is except for Aussies, the Aussie tall poppy syndrome. There's something about our culture where we like to criticize, we like to cut down people who are having success. We chop people who are sticking their heads out. I don't know why we do. It's a horrible part of our culture, but we have opposition. We have people who are coming at us. I did this at Noosa just to show in 1 month the groups that I dealt with who were opposing, like saying different things, or we don't like Jeunesse, and this is we're going to get you, or this, things that are wrong. They're always going to come at us and attack us. We need to be resilient. But part of that for you is to keep it clean, keep your business clean. Now, overall, we're really doing well, and I think this is one of the cleanest markets in the whole world for Jeunesse. And I'm really proud of that. As a result, we are growing. We're steadily growing. We talked last year about, we really hope we get to $1 billion. And you know what? I think we will get to $1 billion. And we were on track for $1 billion. Then we ended up $1.1 billion. We are growing like crazy. Our trajectory is perfect. Our years to $1 billion, you've seen this. We've done it better, and we've done it quicker than anyone else. We got to $1 billion in sales in our 6th year. And others, we're not Avon. They're much bigger than us. But how long did it take them? It took them over 90 years to achieve what we did in 6 years with our $1 billion growth. You're only as strong as your foundation. As I wind up, what makes me most proud of this market in particular, Aussie, New Zealand, is we have a strong foundation. We have a strong foundation of leaders who are principled. We are a very ethical market. We have some of the least amount of compliance challenges. As a result, our business is strong, it is robust, it is built to last, and that makes me proud. I think about this all the time. I've probably shown this a couple of times. This foundation, this sturdy foundation, this lighthouse is immovable because it's built on that solid foundation. We've built a business here in Australia and New Zealand to last. I want this to be the last business that you will ever build. I want you to have success of all of these people, particularly in the front row, who now are all millionaires, Jeunesse millionaires, some multi-millionaires, in this business that's been going in Australia only for about 5 years. We're being awarded like crazy. We're growing like crazy. We've got, this is all just from 1 month. You've seen it on Facebook. We've got new products coming out. There's exciting announcement. We've got lots of things in the pipeline. As I change my vision now and focus more on the region, I actually want other countries to be more like the Australian market. I want other leaders to be as principled as my Aussies are and have been. I want a business foundation for them that is as strong and as robust as Australia is so that they can experience the same growth. Part of what changes in my life with Jeunesse, it comes about because I look good. As a general manager for this region, I look very good, the sales and the growth, but I look good because of you. It is you that makes me look good. I've never signed up a person. I don't sell any product. None of that is attributed to me. But as I have worked with you, as I've seen your struggles and health challenges, business challenges, as you rise, you overcome them. So many of you are such great examples for me. I feel love within the market. That's why Rachel calling me the dad. I don't mind. I could be the daddy because we do have that camaraderie in the market. For me, Jeunesse, Aussie, New Zealand, it is the gem in the crown of Jeunesse. I'm proud of you. I really do love you. I'm not disappearing. I'm here as much as you'll ever see me. I'm just spreading my wings a little bit and sharing what we have achieved in Australia and New Zealand with the rest of the region. So Aussie, New Zealand, thank you for being so good and making me look good. I've never been so proud of leaders in a business and a market and results as I am with Jeunesse, Australia and New Zealand. I love you. Thank you very much.